Hi, my name is Don Angelaccio. I'm the Superintendent of Schools here in Prospect Heights, District 23. This presentation was made to the Board of Education on Wednesday, June 10th, 2020, and is posted here on our website as a reference and a resource for parents. As part of our goals for ongoing, open, and transparent communication, we wanted to provide parents this information as soon as it was possible. Thank you. Our Back to School Blueprint has been developed in consultation with our Back to School Blueprint Committee, comprised of representatives from all of our stakeholder groups. We use the term blueprint because we recognize the need for flexibility and responsiveness will continue throughout the fall, and yet we wanted to have our core values and parameters clearly articulated for our community. We thank all of the members of our Back to School Blueprint Committee for their contribution of time and energy toward developing this plan. It's important to remember that District 23's plan is not developed in isolation. Rather, it is based on the foundations laid out in the Governor's Restore Illinois 5-phase plan. It is also based on guidance from the Illinois State Board of Education and the Illinois Department of Public Health. Moreover, we have been working in collaboration with other local districts and their planning teams from the northwest suburban area of Illinois. One of the critical elements of our plan is to ensure that we are following the guidance of these institutions, as well as working collaboratively with our neighbors to ensure consistent implementation. While we all hope that the worst is behind us relative to the COVID-19 pandemic, we must remain flexible in our thinking. We really don't know how this will play out in the fall, so we need to be prepared for multiple scenarios. This requires flexibility from all involved. It's important for parents to understand that as we're developing different scenarios for return to school in the fall, they will not look like previous years. Parents need to be prepared for continued distance learning, intermittent distance learning, and some sort of rotation or hybrid attendance. We fully understand the additional stressors and complications that this places on our families. It is our goal to maximize face-to-face and in-person instruction this fall. Given guidance from the CDC and the Illinois State Board of Education, however, we will need to ensure social distancing and other wellness issues are addressed. We share this information with parents as soon as possible so that you may begin to plan for a flexible return to school in the fall and make arrangements with employers or for childcare. Each of these 4 factors must be considered as we develop different scenarios for the fall. We must ensure the health and safety of our students, staff, and our broader community. We must target our teaching and learning to address both learning loss as well as the introduction of new content. We're also critically aware of the role that schools play in supporting families and our community, both from an economic standpoint as well as from a sense of normalcy. Lastly, cost and complexity must be considered as we develop a plan. We do not have unlimited funds, nor do we have unlimited resources of time. So we must develop plans that are reasonable and that we are able to put into operation. Our Back to School Blueprint is comprised of 6 subgroups. Our governance subgroup will identify issues related to policy, finance, labor relations, and communications. Obviously, the instruction subgroup has the largest amount of work to do. They will be designing different scenarios for multimodal learning, This includes face-to-face and in-person instruction, continued distance learning, as well as other synchronous or asynchronous methods. It'll be critically important for us to identify our learning targets and provide ongoing professional development support to our faculty and to our families to support our students during this time. This subgroup will identify ways to maximize our space allocation while maintaining a safe and healthy learning environment. The primary task of our wellness subgroup is to develop a response that will maintain the health and safety of our students, faculty, and families. This includes the planning and acquisition of PPE and other materials or equipment necessary for virus suppression. Our wellness subgroup will also consider wellness through the lens of mental health and the social-emotional learning standards for our students. Undoubtedly for our students, this has been a confusing time, and for some, if not many, even traumatic. It's important for our faculty and parents to work collaboratively to support the social-emotional needs of our students as they return to back to school in-face learning. We will have to work together to help our students meet new and ever-changing expectations, as well as to navigate this uncertain landscape. The operations subgroup will continue to monitor transportation, food service, custodial maintenance, and other all-district operations, modifying our response for each scenario. A linchpin to our successful implementation of any back-to-school plan will be technology. This subgroup is looking at device accessibility, both in school as well as at home, looking to identify learning platforms that will support instruction, and providing professional development and tech support not only to faculty and students, but also to families and parents at home. As of the publication of this presentation, Prospect Heights District 23 is still operating under Phase 3 of the state's plan. We need to prepare for a regression to Phase 2 or maintenance in Phase 3, which would mean continued distance learning. As we plan for distance learning in the fall, however, we're looking at distance learning 2.0. We need to identify what elements of this plan have been working, the areas that we can improve upon or enhance, and things that we may need to add to reach a higher level of student engagement and rigor of instruction. The current guidance suggests that Phase 4 will allow for schools to reopen with many restrictions, most importantly, with a 50-person capacity for any one space. This will require us to answer many questions about how to modify our environment safely while maximizing instruction. As a leadership team, we are working through different scenarios that will allow us to meet varied needs of our student population. One essential that we have identified is for all students to receive face-to-face instruction at some point each week. This will likely require some type of rotation or multiple day schedule where students will be both in person for face-to-face instruction as well as home for distance learning instruction. According to the Governor's Restore Illinois plan, schools will open with very limited restrictions when we reach Phase 5. When we reach this phase, we anticipate all students being able to participate each day for a full day of face-to-face instruction. Of course, the questions for us to consider will be how to design our new normal and what can we learn from our distance learning experience. This timeline articulates our plan for communication. At this time, we have no plans to modify the start of our school year, meaning that faculty would begin the week of August 16th, with school starting August 19th. I thank the students, staff, and parents who completed the online survey to help inform our decision-making moving forward. I also thank all of the parents, community members, staff, and administrators who are serving on our Back to School Blueprint Committee this summer. We know this wasn't the summer you had planned on, but your time and energy is most appreciated in helping us to develop a plan that will meet the needs of our students and our community. I wish I could tell you I had all the answers and knew exactly what school would look like in the fall, but I don't. What I can tell you is that I continue to be amazed and so proud to work in a community and in a district that supports students in such amazing ways. The way we've come together as a community to support one another is truly remarkable, and I can guarantee you that we will continue to work tirelessly to develop scenarios and plans that are responsive to the safety and health of our students, staff, and community, that will target teaching and learning in essential ways, that will be mindful of the impact on our families and community, as well as to take into consideration cost and complexity as we develop a plan that we can operationalize pretty quickly. Please continue to stay tuned for emails and newsletters from the district and schools with information regarding our return to school in the fall. Thank you for all that you're doing. I hope you have a fantastic summer, and in the fall we'll all be back together, proud to be D23.